Fortunately, the upholstery on a Dodge, especially a Dodge truck of this vintage, is very simple. And therefore, it's something that we can tackle at home. I've started by making a plan based on trucks, upholstery and trucks I looked at, and a photograph that I have of a seat which is ripped apart, showing the construction of it. You see the construction. The bottommost layer, once the springs are prepared, is to cover them with burlap, cover the tire springs with burlap. And then over that will go 2 layers of horsehair for cushioning and shape. And then over that goes, that's held in place by another layer of burlap. And then over that goes the cover. And the cover is made from leather, a black, vat-dyed, genuine leather skin, which is sewn, backed up with muslin behind, and sewn into channels, and then those channels are filled with the cotton batting. We've got the springs, which have been prepared. Now, what I've done here is I've cleaned the springs, primed them, get the shape that we want, the overall shape. The tacking strip has been replaced. This would be the bottom, and in this particular assembly there's a metal channel all the way around the bottom perimeter, which contains a tacking strip which originally was some sort of pressed paper product. I replaced it with this plastic material, which is available in upholstery stores. So it have to come in exactly the right dimension to go into that channel. And just to give it additional strength, I've bound the entire channel all the way around with more fabric. And just given a good basic structure. Over this will go our burlap, purchased by the yard. The horsehair material. And of course the leather. To complete the seat and the 2 backrests. Cotton batting is purchased by weight. Comes in a roll. To finish off the structure around the bottom, tack into, which then covers up the heads of the tacks so they don't show. The first step will be to cover this with burlap. We'll use hog rings. After the first layer of burlap goes 2 layers of horsehair One layer which just covers the seat, one layer which wraps around the front of the seat, and then another layer of burlap which gets held in place by hog rings and this holds the 2 layers of horsehair into place. I've marked the center line, front and rear, and I've used the dimensions of the foundation to lay out the pleats. Now might be a good time to get the seat backs into the same condition, the same stage as the seat itself. The seat backs are also pleated with a 4-inch wide pleat. When these seats are mounted on their hinges, the pleats will match up with the pleats on the seat. The foundation for the seat backs begins with a piece of, in this case, plywood, 3/4 inch thick, 18 by 12. Then over that piece of plywood goes 2 layers of the 1-inch horsehair, rubberized horsehair, and then also included 1 layer of cotton batting just to give it a little more depth. Center lines are marked so that we can align the pleated leather seat cover that we're going to be making. From the foundation, the patterns are made. These are made out of brown paper bags, and each section of the pleated seat is cut out and marked to make up a pattern. Also using the dimensions off of the seat, I've marked out on the muslin the actual pattern. I've done the same thing on the seat backs. I've made up the foundations as described before, each one on a piece of plywood. I've made up a pattern, in this case 1 pattern each, a pattern showing the width of each pleat. From those, I've marked out on the muslin the sew lines with the centers marked out, 1 for each back. And in this particular case, I've also done some practice in order to know just how high I want each pleat to be. That determines how wide I'm going to cut each piece of leather. I did some experimentation where, I've decided that for this 4-inch pleat, I want 6 inches of fabric. To get a good even consistency, you tear batting, you don't cut it. We're trying to get it so it's not lumpy. The smaller the pieces, the less lumpy it'll be, the more consistent, homogeneous the stuffing will be. Then we use the yardstick to get it packed down in all the corners. Especially the far corners. I was working with the prototype, and I discovered that the foundation looked good, but I didn't like the feel of the end. The horsehair was kind of poking out on the end, and there wasn't any support for the end here. So what I'm doing is I open it back up. I'm adding 2 layers of cotton batting. I'll button this back up, and this will give me a real nice contour here at the top, and some support across the end. This corner is very important. The front corner, the back corner, and the side. It's nice and padded, nice and smooth, good contours. The front's not so important. Put the fold on the side, on the front, and the fold on the rear. The rear, there's a backboard, you don't see it. On the front, when you sit on it, it gets squashed anyway. So much nicer now. Good contour, good shape. Here's 50.5 square feet of leather. I've trimmed it around the edge. I've laid out all my revised templates, patterns. Looks like I'll have plenty. I still have to do I have the seat backs, but I don't have the seat pleats. So I still have to do those. I laid out the pleats on the seat cushion so that they all ran in the same direction, so that if there's any mismatch in the grain, it'll line up.